There we go.
All right, here we are once again at the Friday Night Fireside, and I have a few people with me. I don't have a cold open ready for this evening. Tonight it was just kind of a fun topic that I had in mind, and it's going to have to do with superpowers, superheroes, and superpowers. I'll get more into my plans for the topic, but as always, I let everybody know that this is a fireside panel where we'll have a topic of discussion that we all kind of begin with, and then once we kind of wrap that topic up, we'll move to a different topic and allow other people to just like, hey, what's on their mind? What do they think that is important to talk about? Sometimes it could be about just fun shit like pop culture and talking about superpowers, and sometimes it could just be, or it could be talking about some of the real shit that's happening in the world right now. So it's kind of where the conversation takes us. I'll let audience and panelists know that sometimes the topics can get spicy, and we always try to be respectful uh, of each other. But if you know things get heated, we have others here to help moderate. Nobody who is participating in the discussion should be moderating themselves. So, like, for example, let's say myself and Uncle Mike start getting into a little bit of a tiff, then some Naga might be the moderator for the conversation and come in. But if Cindy and Naga are going at it, I might come in and step in, right? So nobody who is directly engaged in the conversation should be the one trying to moderate things, right? We're trying to do
Dave,
it things in a community, right?
right. Dave,
Yeah.
I'll just walk over to your place and come in your house.
Yeah, you could just come in and just fucking knock me out, right?
Uh, One quick thing, Volty. I went ahead and sent you a invite to join the speakers. Check your DMs; it should be there.
I already right clicked him and sent him an invite to speak, so he just has to sit there and accept it. I already got that in there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Ooh, hold on. I need to. This looks a little off. There we go. Let's bring that down. That's better. Okay. Where were we? Yes. Okay. So, before we get into the topic, which I said was going to be superpower related, and I've got reasons for wanting to theme it that way, but I'll hold tight for that for a second. Let me go ahead and give the other panelists here tonight opportunity to introduce themselves. So let's just go well, first of all, I haven't even really introduced myself, even though some of you already know this is Dave's World. You're on the Dave's World channel. So I am Dave, or DM Dave as I'm known on Sputter Media, which is where I started with my gaming RPG actual play shows, which feature Naga on Sputter Media. Got a little banner advertising Sputter Media in the corner. Check us out. Very, very entertaining actual plays. We have 2 seasons of our flagship show, Cyber Knights. We have a season of Tomb of Annihilation, a season of a show called Dawn of Alderton from a former partner who was working on something. And then we have Madness of the Multiverse, which episode 2 will be dropping very soon as I finish editing the video. And then also, hint, hint, something related to superheroic stuff, is a new project on Sputter Media coming soon that we are in the process of developing. So that's kind of what sparked my thoughts on the topic this evening. So yeah, that's me. I'm Dave. Let's go ahead and Naga, who, for those who are already familiar with Sputter Media content, you already know Naga as the most bumbling but lovable lawman Legion on Cyber Knights. And he is, I'll just let you talk about yourself. Naga, tell them who you are, where they can find you.
Hey, as you already heard, Naga. You can find me on just about any platform under the moniker of Nagatsu, Nagatsu Seiken, Nagatsu 11. I'm generally speaking only active on Discord and to a lesser extent Twitter, which I only use for porn these days. But yeah, feel free to hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions, talk to just about anyone for any reason. So
I almost made the KKK rally joke, but I did that last week, so like I probably shouldn't try and do that 2 weeks in a row, right? You use it for porn and for organizing those cross burnings, right? Because that's all you can do with Twitter anymore.
yeah, pretty much.
All right, let's go to Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike, this is your first time appearing, but you and I are working on some content developing, and so this is kind of your, I guess, yeah, you jumped in to kind of get a little practice run in and have a little conversation with us this evening. I'm hoping that was the idea, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Uncle Mike. Better known as the analog guy in a digital world. I'm trying to get a little, besides a little content, just familiar with the techie stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I can explain myself, using 100 words instead of 5 words, and I gotta be able to get down to that. So, that's what Dave is going to be there for our little podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm, I can be reached at Uncle Mike on Discord, and I hope to, have fun doing this.
All right, thank you. And then we've got Cindy, the very lovely Cindy, on the panel here this evening. Cindy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Cindy. I don't have a lot of places to direct you. I am on Instagram at Miss Cindy VIP School of Music. I have a whole teacher account there, and I'm like not as active as I should be, but I do have something there. I have a TikTok, but TikTok might get banned again, so I have not done a lot of stuff on that. But that's at Cindy Mom 84. But yeah, I'm just a mom and I'm a music teacher. And yeah, I've known Dave since we were 5.
Yeah. You and I go way back. So,
Yeah.
And then I forgot to even drop my own Instagram, Dave's World Games, at Dave's World Games. That's you can find me at Dave's World Games on Instagram and Threads, and then of course YouTube, which is where you're watching this right now, so you can find me here, and then Sapper12B on Discord. So if you hit me up, Sapper12B, that's where you can find me there. All right, so without further ado, let me get into the reason why I am doing a little superhero theme for today's beginning discussion, and that is the new show that's coming to Sputter Media soon, which is going to be Marvel 5e. For those of you who are familiar with the 5e system of D&D, we are going to be running a superheroic version of that. So, and we are setting ourselves in the Marvel universe, or rather the greater Marvel multiverse. We are going to be setting this in Universe 1337. And for those of you who are elite enough to get the reference there, the idea behind this is will be apparent to you. But yeah, so we are going to be telling our own story with within the Marvel universe with original characters. But so all of our players, all of our player actors will be featuring original characters, but I will be responsible for playing, portraying, and storytelling all of the Marvel elements that they will encounter. All right, hold on a second. I'm getting a lot of lag on my camera. Let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. Bear with me, guys. I don't want it to look like crap. There we go. That's looking smoother. Yeah. Okay, things are waving at the same speed that I am waving. That's, And then Cindy, it looks like you just crapped out entirely, your camera, but I know you said you might be turning your camera on and off and or muting or whatever, but if you are meaning to broadcast, your camera just lagged out as well. Mike, are you moving? No. Oh, it's me. Y'all are... we lagged out entirely, didn't I? Fuck me. Technical difficulties. All right. Well, shit. I think I need to restart Discord. Hey, there we go. Okay. Good timing. And oh, can you hear me? No, I'm not broadcasting. Fuck. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, but you're not being captured. I'm not getting a capture from you guys. Let me figure out why. Can you guys can hear me, right? Okay. I'm just trying to get uh for some reason I'm not getting a capture on your audio, so I'm trying to fix that right now.
It's actually pretty good so far.
Went 4 innings, 5 earned runs given up on 9 hits, so not a very good start. But then July 3rd,
What's the downside of eating a clock?
he was great. 6 scoreless innings, 1 hit allowed.
Eating a flock?
Yep.
Ronaldo
Is
don't
it
know.
unintentional?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That.
Oh wow.
Good. This is great.
Yeah.
Why don't you ever see hippos hiding in trees?
Well, then where is it? Fuck me.
D&D.
Here's
The only
Oh.
exception being Cyber.
Oh, there it is. God damn it. Why was that so hard to find?
.com.
Okay, now I'm getting capture from you guys.
Nice.
Woo! Okay.
Yeah,
And then
Cyberpunk is fucking awesome. It's just I love how punishing it is. Uh,
It's proudly presented by
like
okay.
it mentioned me being the bumbling lawman of the group. That was because I would crit fail all the time, and Dave has a crit fail chart. I would always roll 95 or higher on that crit fail chart, the consequence of which is losing your footing and having to pass a con save to not smash your head on the rocks, the wall, the ground, what have you, and knock yourself out. I failed it every fucking time and would knock my own ass out for a turn.
Yeah, like that was like his claim to fame. And now that we're back and recording, and sorry, I had some like weird audio shit that I had to fix, but I got it fixed. That's the good news. But so basically, y'all were just chatting, and nobody heard a thing that y'all were talking about. However,
No, it's such a damn shame.
I know, but we got it fixed. Now that I like just
Yeah.
stressed myself out to go get that fixed, I am going to let y'all keep talking, and then I'm gonna run over to Uncle Mike in his truck, and I'm gonna go bum a cigarette off his ass because I can see him smoking right in front of me.
I'm
So,
at the lake.
oh, you're at the
I'm at
lake
the
right now.
lake.
Okay, well then, motherfucker, you
Yeah.
tell me when you get in the parking lot because I'm not walking to the
Well,
lake.
I'm gonna. Well, I'm just sitting here watching the
Awesome.
ducks. It's my
I love it.
decompress.
Mhm.
the way you describe it to people. Really a big win yesterday, 7-4 on opening day. Chelsea said Loco got the platform a couple of times last.
Hey, Dave.
A couple hundred million homes here. Backbone. For Dylan, play your opponent. Guys like this on the mound could be another great week. I think the talent was on display in yesterday's game on both sides. This was
Okay. Well, as they said, we are working on Marvel 5e. We're all playing our own original characters. Hmm?
Is there a thing where if you can't hear it, it's not getting recorded?
Yeah.
We can hear you, yeah. Yes.
For real. Government's trying to shut us down because it knows what we'll say.
Holty says staying it. We need Sarah Connors to come over. Or Connor. I could call my mom.
The
Yeah.
Skynet.
Blame it on the new guy.
Save 15% today. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsST.com. Padres fans, the party starts before the game on the Coaster Train. Take Ocean View with family and friends. Skip the traffic and save on parking. Buy your Coaster Train tickets to Padres games and park for free at
What? Did you figure it out?
game days for chance. Let us take you as the MVP. Join the winning team and score big.
I just love the fact that the camera froze for a second on that resting bitch face.
The same day the Padres play here. Station 97.3. Umpires, managers, exchange lineup. I'll get you to the break party. Okay.
Can you bypass what you're doing and use analog?
We weren't being recorded before.
No, I had to stop the recording when my sound source had to go through the update. So back again.
Got it.
Yeah, when my sound source went through the update, I had to. Yeah. Oh, what? No. Oh. Come on. There we go. All right. I'm still getting a little bit of a delay now. In the video, anyway.
Yeah.
Man, today is a
Audio.
Is my audio sound clean though?
No, your audio is fine. It
Okay.
sounds unaffected.
Okay, just my video's being a little meh. I need a better webcam. All right, where were we? Okay, so you guys were talking about favorite superheroes. So,
Yes.
my favorite superhero is complicated because it's Venom / Spider-Man. And the reason why I say that is because, of course, at one point Venom and Spider-Man, or at least the symbiote conceptually, were one and the same, right? You have the symbiote Spider-Man, and then the origins of Venom from Spider-Man. Like, I feel like, I mean, obviously they're not the same character, but one is derived from the other. And which one of those is my favorite kind of fluctuates for different reasons. One is, Spider-Man, he's the OG. He's my boy. But then I have like a real personal place in my heart, my soul, and my fandom, so to speak, for Venom, because of the allegory of this struggle with PTSD that I see in that character. So, for that reason, Venom is kind of like on the top, but like only just, and the difference is like entirely like an emotional, circumstantial, where I identify. I identify both with Peter Parker and his struggles. Like you know what I mean? Like that's where it started. Like the struggles with the dark side that come from particularly the Venom symbiote and all of the characters that particular, like if you were to, like the Venom symbiote itself is a character, but it's a character that has bonded with other characters, and the experiences that those characters go through, that mirror, that struggle with your dark side, right? That's kind of so that's for me. That's the Venom. Venom / Spider-Man is my answer, but those are the reasons.
Yeah, it's actually I actually had never thought of it as a reflection for PTSD, but yeah.
I feel like, well, I mean, if you've ever read Agent Venom, right? Flash Thompson Venom. Flash Thompson gets the Venom symbiote after Dark Avengers, after the government takes the symbiote off of Mac Gargan. They decide to put it on Flash Thompson, who, if you're familiar with Spider-Man comics, he was Spider-Man's bully in high school, right? He was, and there was this whole thing about like Flash Thompson's character where he bullied Peter Parker, but Flash Thompson was a huge Spider-Man fan, like adored Spider-Man, and like he would be simultaneously bullying Peter Parker and Spider-Man is awesome. So like there was that juxtaposition of like his bully loves him, but doesn't know that he's Spider-Man, right? So, in the early 2000s, they did a run with, after Dark Avengers, they did a run with Flash Thompson, who was deployed to Iraq, and he was a corporal in the U.S. Army, and he loses his legs by driving over an IED. Not drive. I think it was. I don't think it was driving over, and I think it was either way, explosive. He loses his legs, right? And then he deals with severe PTSD and alcoholism, and S.H.I.E.L.D. recruits him to become Agent Venom. And so when he's using the symbiote, he can use his legs again, right? Otherwise, he's in a wheelchair in his daily life. But when he's Agent Venom, he gets his legs back. And then, but the symbiote, his struggle with the symbiote and for control ends up becoming like an allegory for the struggle with alcoholism and other substance abuse, and for just like, struggling with your own personal demons and whatnot. So, I feel like that's the run of Venom that really kind of digs into that particular allegory for that particular struggle. But I feel like it's always been there in the character, right? Like, or at the very least, if not specifically with PTSD or substance abuse, one of the things that's always been with the symbiote character, the Venom symbiote, has been like struggling with your dark impulses, struggling with your dark side. And here's the best part, and this is what really makes the Venom character solidifies it for me, is the Venom symbiote itself was kicked out of the collective, of the symbiote collective, for being too merciful.
Yeah.
So like he was still a killer, but like mercy, not you know, so it was like one of those things where it's like, yeah, not only is it a struggle with the dark side, but this dark side was still the good one compared to the other symbiotes that Null created. Like, most of them just like enjoyed the shit out of killing, as opposed to like, hey, sometimes there's a need. You know, sometimes there's wars. Sometimes there's, you know, Venom becomes the quote unquote lethal protector, right? But like, yeah, if you go when they go into the story and into the lore, the Venom symbiote in particular, the whole reason why he ends up on Earth in the first place is because his people kicked him out for being too nice.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you know, for me, like for you with Spider-Man and Venom being just inches apart from each other as far as where you would rank them,
right?
As far as your personal favorite, Venom lags just an iota behind Deadpool for me.
Sure.
And for me, what I really like about the Venom symbiote is the fact that it shows that struggle and that darkness, but at the same time, I think it also kind of shows that there is a place for that darkness. Well,
so like, yeah, sure. And to reiterate on the other thing, like with the Venom symbiote, like one of the things that made him too nice was the fact that it didn't want to destroy hosts, right? Like it would be like when it binds with hosts, it cares about the host and wants to preserve and protect the host, whereas other symbiotes are you know, consume and move on, right? It doesn't matter,
right?
Like you use up the host and then find another one. It's great when you can find a host that like really can stick it out for a while, but eventually, you know, you're gonna burn through it. That's just the way these things operate. Whereas the Venom symbiote has this desire to bond and not just consume. Like it is one that is like it's destructive but still capable of making connections, and its destructive nature is something that it seeks to overcome rather than succumb to. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So anyway, I was thinking of a fun thematic little debate where each of us could choose a superpower, and we would all have one superpower that we are defending in a debate. Like, this is the best superpower, all the other superpowers suck, and like argue why your superpower is the best. And I was thinking either we like each choose a superpower, but then there's the risk of overlap if like two people want to choose the same power. But there's only 4 of us tonight, so maybe it won't come to that. Maybe it'll be.
I would remind you at this juncture that this was one of our questions of the day for, I believe it was Cyber Nights.
Right, yes.
You and I picked the same thing.
Yeah, so the other option is we randomly assign, like, this is the power that you got to defend and argue. But here's the thing, is it's not just about, like, why is your superpower the best, but, like, let's argue the pros and cons, right? Why would the other people's powers suck? So like, I thought this would just be a really fun, like, low stakes debate where like, there's nothing serious. It's low stakes. Nobody's gonna hurt each other's feelings. But like, let's really fucking attack the ideas and like, get spicy about some bullshit that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to choose a power or randomly assign a power?
Dave, my knowledge is limited.
Well, you know what superpowers are.
I know, but on Marvel characters.
No, we're not talking about characters. We're just being like, you might be defending the power of flight, for example.
Yeah.
Just the ability to fly, and why the ability to fly would be the best power ever. Or whatever superpower you think that you would want to have. And why that power is awesome, and why all the other powers would suck.
Okay.
So, like, do you want to pick one? Hold on, let's ask Cindy and Mike. Do you guys want to pick a power, or do we want to, like, randomly assign these powers? What do you think?
Either way.
Yeah. Just pick one.
All right, Mike, how about you go first? What superpower would be like, this is the superpower that you want to argue and defend is the best superpower ever, and all the other superpowers suck?
Like Wolverine's powers, regeneration.
Regeneration. Okay, you're gonna go with regeneration. Okay, cool.
Yeah. He never dies. He's got those nice claws, and he can take a beating, a pounding, and just regenerate.
You're going with regeneration. Okay, Cindy, what power do you want to defend?
Just super strength.
Super strength. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna pick last. Naga, what are you taking?
Let's go with teleportation.
Teleportation.
That's a good one. That was my second choice, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna go with telepathy. Okay, how about let's do this? You gotta dip out? That's okay. Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, no, it was good to have you, Mike. All right, so no regeneration. We've just got teleportation. What were you on, Cindy?
Super strength. I think Mike might come back.
He might. Oh yeah. No, but like just for the moment.
Yeah.
So
and then telepathy, is that like Doctor or Professor X?
Yeah, Professor X. Yeah, Professor X.
So you can read thoughts and control minds?
Yes. I would say, like, Professor X telepathy would be my model, yes.
Nice.
Okay, so, all right. How about we all go with opening statements? Cindy first. Why are you choosing super strength? Why? So we'll like this is a moment we'll all take to defend our. This is the power that we're choosing and why.
Okay. Well, I kind of chose it because I was like, if I was really strong, I wouldn't be afraid of much. Like, I would probably just push people away and push things out of my way, and that was what I was thinking. Especially like as a woman, like, you know, sometimes being out in the world, I'm just like, I'm like, I am not as strong as probably most men, and if I did have super strength, then I wouldn't have. That's a one thing off the list. And I know this is totally like a more serious subject.
Well, no, but hey,
like,
if we want to bring this into the real world, let's bring it into the real world. These are the reasons, right?
Yeah, well, like, when you think about male privilege, like, literally one of the privileges men have is safety. And a lot of it is because you guys tend to be stronger. People don't tend to go after men. Yes, and like, there's, you know, obviously there's very strong women out there who also, like...
I mean, I wouldn't want to fucking go up against Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, well, okay, and also, I mean, to be fair, and I'm also even thinking about, I had a 60-year-old student who was not afraid at all to have this random dude come to the studio because she has 3 black belts and felt like she could take him. So, like, that's the type of women I'm talking about. Like, you would never know. She's like, you know, this little lady. But anyway, I'm not like that. Like, I don't know what I'd be like. So if I had super strength, that's one less thing I'd be worried about.
Let me ask a question.
That is kind of my why.
Would you want it to be something like She-Hulk, where Jennifer Walters can, like, just be walking around like normal, just looking like she normally does, but then, like, transforms into She-Hulk and goes all, you know, Hulk smash? Or would you like to be always in big bad form and be intimidating? Or would you like to be so I can see this 3 different ways, right?
Yeah.
Either it would be you're just deceptively strong and just always looking like you, or you would be always walking around big, intimidating, not necessarily green, but like in a kind of like hulked out state of you look like big and bad, or it would be like you change from whatever your state is into this hulkish form. Which of those 3 would be appealing to you? Would you like to always be intimidating? Would you like to be like deceptively strong, or would you like to change from your normal form into your stronger form?
I think honestly, deceptively.
So just always kind of looking like you, but like you could just go blink like that to somebody and they don't even see it coming.
Yeah, because for one, that's hilarious. 2, I like the way I look, and I don't really want to change. But I also was originally thinking kind of like Superman without the flight, because that's more than one.
Well, you're not doing flight. I mean? Yeah, you're not doing flight. You're just doing super strength, right?
We're doing one.
Yeah.
So if you like, because like Superman is just super strong. So if we just take one of his powers, and that's what I'm taking. Mm-hmm. He just looks like a normal dude.
Right.
I mean, he has muscles, whatever, but like that, like, looks like himself. Like, he doesn't like turn into a Hulk or anything.
Yeah.
Or, you know, he doesn't turn into indifferent. So he just takes off his glasses, and then he looks like Superman. But he's still strong as Clark Kent. So. Right.
All right. Before we go around the table, or around the fireside, around the campfire, shall we say? Like, I should get like a little like fireside icon or something for, I don't know, whatever. The things will improve visually as I go through and do stuff. But let me go ahead and welcome in Anarcho Cowboyist. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, but let me go ahead and tell you the topic of discussion is currently we're about to get into debate because we're going to argue our favorite superpowers. So right now we're just at the what superpower would you pick and why? But then we're gonna get into debating who's got the best superpower. So be prepared to argue if you want to participate. Right now, Cindy has super strength. Uncle Mike has regeneration. Naga has teleportation, and I've got telepathy. So if you want to think of a power that you want to defend, you can sit there and think while we're going through it. But also, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, go ahead.
I really don't know what to say to introduce myself, but I don't know. You can call me the Anarcho Cowboyist. I'm working on a master's in popular culture studies just because it's a gateway into folklore studies. That's about it.
And we're talking pop culture shit, so here we are. Do you already have a superpower in mind? Please pick one that is not already being represented by somebody else, because we're going to argue the shit out of these.
It depends on the version of it, I guess.
Yeah, so just pick a power and argue the version that you're like. For example, I'm arguing telepathy, but I'm specifically going to be arguing Professor X style telepathy, right? So
can we go with a suite of related powers?
Nope. You got to pick a power. That's the point on this one. One power.
All right, I'll go with I'll go with the Sue Richards style invisibility.
Invisibility? Okay, cool. Okay, all right. So, Cindy just finished her opening statements about super strength. Naga, let's hear you talk about your teleportation. Let's just your opening statements about why teleportation is the best power.
All right. Well, so why is teleportation the best? Put simply, no weaknesses. And what few weaknesses there are can be compensated for to just effectively negate them.
All right, I'm gonna have fun trying to poke holes in that one. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, same. Damn. Lost my train of thought.
This is a debate, friend.
So
go ahead. Sorry, this is your opening statement, though. I should shut up.
Yeah. Run or fight. Do either with equal effectiveness. You effectively have enhanced speed as a result of teleportation ability, depending on how far your range is. Effectively, the speed of light. It's just perfect.
Oh, I'm gonna destroy that thought. All right.
I'm gonna kind of dig it, you know.
I've been oh fuck me! I took a hit. That's my bad. I've been kind of going clockwise, so I guess that brings it to me. So I am going with telepathy, and that the specific telepathy that I am defending is the Professor X style telepathy. So that would mean that I am able to hear or at least read the minds of others, and also be able to use my abilities to be inside their minds to implant thoughts, to inception them to my will. So that would be my best superpower. The way that I would put it to use, at least in today's society, I'm not going superhero with this. I'm not gonna lie. I would be a villain of a kind. I would be not necessarily a criminal, but a casino cheat, so to speak. I would use my ability to go to poker tables and just always know what the outcome of every hand would be based on what my opponents had. I would always know when to hold them, when to fold them, and of course, even be able to just be like, get the bet ramped up big and then incept into an opponent's mind to fold, even if they had the winning hand. But I wouldn't do, like, you know, I wouldn't be doing this like crazy flashy, right? Like, and the reason why I choose poker is because you're not playing against the house, you're playing against other people. So, like, I would just be seen as a really good, intuitive, and maybe potentially lucky poker player, but I would not, in any way, shape, or form, be tipping off anyone big in the casinos to be like, because I'm not taking any money from the casinos. I'm just fleecing people at the table, and it could just be somebody being super fucking mad or disappointed that things didn't play out their way. So it's the perfect, I don't even want to say perfect crime, right? It's the perfect way to use your power to make money. And like, you could even keep it small, just go to like small casinos. Doesn't have to be like huge fucking $1 million tournaments. I could just be making like fucking 300, 400, 500 bucks an hour by just sitting at the table and reading the cards and reading the people, and like, it would just be a perfect way to just think my way into being rich, and not even in a way that like is like majorly exploitative, right? Because people are coming in here and gambling, you know. Yeah, sure, I know I'm gaming my opponents, but there's no system. There's nothing that would stop me, because I'm not taking from anybody who fucking cares, right? Or cares enough to do anything about it. So that's my opening statement about why telepathy would be the best power, and not even because I want to be a fucking hero about it. All right. So those were my opening remarks. Uncle Mike, you're next. You're defending regeneration. Why is regeneration the best superpower?
Well, to be immortal, there's, two sides of the fence on that.
Don't undercut your argument, man. Don't undercut your argument. This is why you're I mean, if you want to lay it out, that's fine, but like, remember, you're trying to defend this as the best power. So don't give us ammunition.
Well, I'm sure I was already there. I wouldn't have to worry about anything. Worry about somebody taking me out. That's why. My biggest reason. We have to worry about it.
So it's a safety thing.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Self-preservation, right? Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
Be able to defend my family.
Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can stop you. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Be ready to defend that, because we're all going to try and poke holes in your defense. All right, Cowboyist, you picked what was it? What did you pick? Remind me.
Invisibility.
Invisibility. Yes, Sue Storm style was your. So I want to be clear because we're just doing one power. So even like those Sue Storm can do force fields and shit, right? You're just doing the invisibility.
Oh no, that's why. That's why I asked the clarifying question of whether I could do the full suite or not.
Yeah, not the full suite of powers. We're just going with the one power for the sake of being able to, because that. I mean, if we're just looking at a single power, right? Just a single ability, as opposed to like a whole suite, because one of the reasons why the comic book characters have suites of powers is because if they didn't, most of their powers would suck by themselves, right? You would still be very defeatable by itself.
There
right?
is a reason. There is a reason, though. I did stress Sue Storm or Sue Richards style invisibility.
Sure.
And even if you take away the hard constructs that she can make, and the
so
force
like
fields,
invisibility and force fields are two different things. That's
no, I know, but even if you take away the force fields and the constructs, which the constructs are just an extension of the force fields, anyways, if you take those away, her style of invisibility still includes her clothes, other people, or any objects she can also make invisible.
Yes. Okay. So I'm willing to roll with that. I'm willing to roll with that about like being able to apply the invisibility to other things.
Well, I did not want to hobble myself with classic Invisible Man who is only fully invisible naked.
Right. No, I got that. So the ability, so at least I can see that. So that the power of invisibility includes your ability to make other things invisible, and I feel like that's honestly an important distinction, especially considering the things that I'm already thinking about to try and attack your position. So now, no, we still didn't. We were just clarifying. Go ahead, make your opening statements about invisibility as the best power. If you do the I get to go into fucking women's locker rooms thing, I will relentlessly fucking...
I really don't care for that. It's so repetitive. But why I would pick invisibility is the same reason they say the best defense against a bear is if I kneecap you and I can keep going. I don't need to stand up in a physical fight with any of y'all. I can just go invisible, go off the grid.
Just no. If
I need money, if I need money, I could make anything invisible with me and walk out with it. If it's a matter of you trying to use your Omega level mutant telepathy.
We're not even in a versus thing yet, but go ahead.
You did not stipulate that you also had the skills, Charles Xavier's engineering skills, so you don't get the benefit of Cerebro.
No, I don't have Cerebro.
You're not
no.
You're not finding me halfway around the world.
Right, and we weren't even getting into the versus thing, but like I pun intended, I love where your head is at. All right, so everybody got a chance to do their opening statements about what power they selected and why, right? All right, cool. So before we go in, is there anybody who wants to call out another power? Like, I think my power is better than this power. Otherwise, I'm going to have to fucking pit you against each other. So
That might
you're not
make
calling out a
things more
person. You're not
interesting.
calling out a person. You're saying, I think my power is better than this other power that somebody selected. So the 5 powers we have are teleportation, telepathy, super strength, regeneration, and invisibility. So is there anybody in the panel who's like, I know my power is better than that power?
The problem for me is,
I mean,
that
come on, you all
I
thought
would
this was
call
the
out
best
every
power.
one of the powers.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a confidence level thing, right? Because you're all saying, everybody here is saying, my power is the best power. We're all trying to say, my power is better than the other 4. I'm saying, like, is there anybody who is like, I know, I am really, really certain my power is better than this of the other 4? Like, if you see what I'm saying, you see where I'm going here. Like, let's see if we can get a ranking going through debate, right? So, is there anybody who's like, I'm gonna call this power out? Let's debate.
I am absolutely confident against strength and regeneration. A little less so against invisibility, but I'm still fairly confident there. And I'm least confident about taking on your telepathy, but I still think I can do it.
Okay. So pick one. Pick one to try and take on first. What do you think you can really beat?
Cindy, you willing to go defend your strength?
I'll try.
All right. So both of you have made opening statements about why your power is the best. So now I'm going to give each of you a turn to say why you think the other person's power is not as good as yours. So Naga, you are the one who challenged Cindy and her super strength. So let's go ahead and I'll give you the opportunity to say first why you think teleportation is better than super strength.
One clarifying question real quick. It was the always-on version of the enhanced strength, right?
Okay. She chose like she's deceptively strong. She looks how she looks, but like is bam. Can just take you down, and you don't even know she doesn't look any different than she looks.
Right. Okay. So that one I think is fairly easy because your primary reason for picking that was a little bit of a bolster to self-confidence, but primarily defense, which is, I mean, it's perfectly legitimate, but at the same time, with superpower, you got to be very, very careful about how you apply it, because, you know, next thing you know, a shove to the chest turns to caving it in. And generally speaking, yeah, at least in the US, you're allowed to defend yourself, but only up to a point. If I remember right, the laws refer to it as equivalent force or something along those lines. And generally speaking, unless somebody pulls out a gun, I don't think caving in their chest is going to fly in the courts.
Whereas, let me throw something out here. Let us not assume that any special laws have been made about superpowers for any of this. So
no, I'm not.
Right. So if no special laws have been made about superpowers, that would include no special exceptions. So if she's just using her body to defend herself, she's just using her body to defend herself.
Right. But at the same time, how are you going to explain caving in somebody's chest with your palm?
I can do that. I mean, I might not come out the other side, but I know how to break a sternum.
Yeah.
And I would have to get caught.
True. She has to be there when authorities show up.
Yes,
okay.
I would.
So how about let's not worry about the law, right? But just no, that's not fair, because law could come into play for a lot of these arguments. Let's not ignore that.
True.
But let's not assume that there's no Sokovia Accords, right? There's no laws that specifically govern the existence of superpowers. Let's not assume those exist.
Yeah, I don't think I am, because, like I said, if you put somebody into a practical scenario where the world is blissfully unaware of superpowers or people with them, then, even if unintentionally, you still got to explain what happened.
Okay, I shouldn't argue for Cindy, because I can poke all kinds of holes into this, but it's Cindy's power to defend. So, let's hear Cindy's response. Why is super strength better than teleportation? That is the position you're taking.
Got it. Well, I mean, in response to what he said, I wouldn't have to stick around. Like, I guess this would all be assuming that there was witnesses and they caught me. Although if I really wanted to be a badass, I could just be I could just take out the police people too, because I have super strength and they don't either. But I guess I would say that super strength is better than teleportation, because if you don't see me coming, I can just walk up behind you and bam. But the moment you know I'm there, but I can be sneaky.
All right. Let me put a pause before I go to the next part of the questioning or whatnot. Naga, can you specify, because there's teleportation? There's a lot of versions of teleportation in the comics, right? Or in pop culture in general, right? Because Star Trek has teleportation. So what character or style of teleportation are you thinking of when you are trying to defend your position?
Yeah, I'm thinking Nightcrawler style.
Nightcrawler, okay. Because, you could be Magic, who creates portals, or Blink, right? That other people can move through, but Nightcrawler's just Nightcrawler himself, or he can manage to grab onto some other people and bring them with, right?
With him,
yeah. Okay. So
that's what I was imagining, if that works out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No. But it was important to understand for the purposes of all of this,
sure.
What style of teleportation he was talking about. Okay. Yeah. So. All right. So you guys both did your why is this one better than the other one? Now here I want to give you guys both the opportunity. Why the other one is bad? What is wrong with the other power? Why that power would not be good? Reasons why this power isn't a good one to have at all, right? We let Naga go first last time. Cindy, so why do you think teleportation is just a bad power to have?
I guess I would just have to say just kind of what I said. If he doesn't see, if you don't see what's coming, then it's not going to do you much good. You have to be aware of what you're teleporting away from, I guess. Or what if you accidentally teleport in the wrong spot Like you think you're gonna go in somewhere, and then it's the other type. It's like another place that you didn't mean to go, and then someone's like slice, slice. Like, what if you like go right in front of someone who was like doing a knife show, and they just like cut you up into little pieces, and you didn't mean for that to happen.
That's
Oh
why
my
you leave
god,
yourself
your
a
little
margin of
freaking
error.
pigtail buns are adorable. When you, I'm sorry, that was. That had nothing to do with the conversation, but just like you leaned forward and laughed, and those little pigtail buns you're wearing today are just like, oh my god, they look so adorable. You look like a cartoon character, like, but not in a bad way, not in a bad way. Come on, like I'm
You know, they're like the cute kind.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, go
Like
ahead.
I was saying, that's why you leave. Yeah, that's why you leave yourself a margin of error. Like, if you're in a building that you need to escape, you know it's one story tall. So instead of trying to land within inches of the roof or the other side of the wall, you take yourself completely out. One story building, all right, fine. Teleport 30 feet up. And then from there, you make a more assessed judgment of how many feet you need to move and teleport again.
Fair.
All right. So, okay. So now, Naga, you're going to what is your argument against super strength, and then Cindy will get a rebuttal to that, and then we'll go to the judges, and I'll explain judgment after this.
Yeah, sure. So, super strength, especially when it's always on, is basically taking a hammer to something that requires a thread and needle. There are so many practical places where super strength is really damaging. Ironically, the first place that my mind goes to is sex. God forbid you have sex with a man, you bite his dick off.
So I mean, I just gotta say, one of the jokes my dad loved to make when I was growing up, he made that joke about like Superman and Lois Lane, Man of Steel, Woman of Tissue Paper.
Yep. Oh, my mom. I did too. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That is the origin for this argument.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So, Cindy, your rebuttal.
Now, in my head, I was thinking that I would have a little more control over my strength. Like, yes, it's always on, but like you said with, I don't know, with Clark Kent, I mean, Clark Kent obviously didn't, like, squish Lois Lane. We're assuming that they, like, got it on, right?
Oh, and that's not an assumption. That's canon.
That's canon. And she didn't die.
She even gets knocked up in one timeline.
So, I would say that, although that is true, not everything needs super strength. I feel like I would have the ability to, or not the ability, but the control of it.
Or could gain. You may not have it have it, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Naga, just so I can try and steelman this in here. What you're suggesting is like yes, it could be controlled, but then you're always controlling it, and if you slip up, somebody dies.
It's like saving it up in a way.
Yeah,
like,
not saving it up, but like just one slip and that thrust is fatal.
That's what she said.
I mean, God forbid he actually does a good job and makes you come.
And right, like that. No, yeah, that would be like an involuntary, and like you would basically just like crush that thing, with your involuntary muscle spasms of super strength.
Well, that's why I brought up, like the boys, that series.
Yes.
When, because she crushed that guy's head.
Yeah. I mean, there's. It gets worse than that. How many seasons have you seen?
Honestly, I've only seen like maybe the first season. Like I haven't seen many.
So you haven't seen the scene with Termite and his boyfriend, right?
No.
Termite. Okay, so Termite is basically like the Ant-Man in the boys' universe. Like that's his power. He can shrink. He can get down super small. And so he is at a like the whole. It's the Herogasm episode, right? The Herogasm episode. And and one of the things that they show is Termite shrinks down to like get small enough to go into his boyfriend's urethra, and then he's just like walking through it like it's a hallway and just like running his fingers on the walls, right? Like just kind of like running like and it's I would say for the kink crowd, it would be like the equivalent of doing a sounding rod. A sounding rod is where you insert a piece of metal into a urethra, and it just like vibrates. It just vibrates, right? And so like, I've never done this. This is not something I have received, but I know that it exists. So yeah. So what happens?
Inside out hand job.
Yeah, basically, it's like an inside out hand job. Yeah, that's the idea here. Yeah, but see what happens in the scene, though. What happens in the scene? Spoiler alert! If you have not seen, I want to say it's like season 3, episode 5 or 6, something like that. The episode's titled Herogasm. So if you have not watched Herogasm, pause in your listening to this. But yeah, what happens is Termite's just running down the walls inside his boyfriend's urethra, and they were doing a little bit of cocaine prior to the activity, and while inside, Termite sneezes and loses control of his shrink grow ability. So he just ends up going to full size inside the penis.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now, did that guy survive, or did he just...
No, he does not.
Like...
He does not. Yeah, blood loss takes him out.
Oh
you know what was in the... Do you know what was in the zeitgeist where they decided to like pull that from?
Well,
do you remember before Endgame?
Yes, they were making the Ant-Man Thanos jokes. Yes, I actually, and here's a funny thing. I actually saw. Remember, I showed you Cindy the Because Science, the YouTuber Because Science, and like he's done a bunch of like how it would actually work scientifically for some of the stuff in the MCU. They also did a combat. They also did a series, Naga. I know you would love. I know you're a Mortal Kombat fan. They've got Because Science has a whole series on like the science of Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm. So like even like scorpions get over here and shit like that. Like they do that stuff. So I think you check it out, Because Science. But like there's a ton of Marvel stuff there also about superpowers and like how they would work in the real world. It's really cool. So
Nice.
anyway, all right. So Cindy, you had your rebuttal, right? Or all right, we're gonna go to the judges, and this is how we're gonna do when we're doing. Since we've got the 5 of us here, we're gonna be obviously the 2 people who participated do not vote. We're gonna do Uncle Mike and Cowboyist. You guys are both going to be like, who do you think won the argument and why? And then I'll be a tiebreaker. So we're gonna do this like like American Idol, right? We've got the voter, we've got the judges, and so yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and for those of you who catch this on YouTube, look at the comments.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Who do you think wins each of these? Go ahead and tell us in the comments who you think won and why, whether it's the individual or the overall at the end of this. So let's go ahead and Uncle Mike. Between Naga and Cindy, who do you think won and why? And this, you can decide your vote for whatever reason it does, but preferably, argument based, but if you wanted to say Cindy won just because she's cuter, that's because that's what you decided. But remember, you're going to argue against her eventually, too.
I think teleportation wins over strong.
Why do you think teleportation wins?
It's more versatile.
Okay.
It can go places. And the only thing against it, strongman standing right there when it comes down. So that's why I think teleportation.
All right, Cowboyist, teleportation or super strength, and why?
So I automatically think teleportation is going to be for like general survivability of being able to get away. Teleportation would take it, but if this is a protracted fight where both are trying to offensively take each other out, if you're going with Kurt Wagner's teleportation, he gets weaker the longer he uses it.
I mean, and I think that anybody would like. I feel like this should go for any power, right? Endurance is not the power, right?
Oh, right. No, I know, but I'm saying it takes a lot of energy out of him when he uses it. When he does a bunch of rapid teleportations, he can kind of like zap his strength for a while before he can do it again. Also, he has the limitation of he does not like to try to teleport anywhere he can't see. So he's very limited on distance.
True, but I would describe that to a personality trait and not a limitation of the power.
Well, I mean, no. This is judges right now. This is judges right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's done blind teleportations before, but he's literally taking a leap of faith. He's not teleporting into another solid object on the other side of a wall or the other side of a rock.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think if it was a head-on fight, I would give it to strength. I do think teleportation could pull off a win offensively. Through a creative use of teleportation, you'd have to do something to grab onto her and then teleport and drop her into something or whatever. Like, tar pit, I don't know.
Right.
So like,
that leaves it... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
As far as like raw strength of power, I think it's a draw. But I think the environment and the circumstances are going to decide who would actually take it away. So
you're sending it to me for the tie. Okay, so either way, it comes to me as a tiebreaker, right? So if you're calling it a draw, it comes to me as the tiebreaker. So, all right. On the one hand, so obviously teleportation, you're moving your body into a different position, and if it's the wrong position at the wrong time, you could take some serious damage. I feel like my further criticisms of teleportation I want to save for my own inevitable, or not inevitable, but potential argument against it when I go up against him. So if it's just me arguing against the strength, right, and not against other things, I gotta give it to teleportation on this one because if it's a face-off, right? If we're going, this is a matchup like not necessarily Hulk, but Nightcrawler versus Strong Guy, right? We're just talking about super strength. We haven't brought endurance into the mix, right? So, like, you could literally just, yeah, sure, they're super strong, but you could just teleport yourself above the head and just drop yourself down on top of her feet first, and that's the end of the fucking fight. I gotta give it to teleportation because I feel like that's the power that gives the first strike, and in this case, that would mean everything. So, I think teleportation wins over super strength. All right, so now let's go ahead and do just like a quick smoke break or whatever, bio break, and then we're going to, because I am the host of the Fireside, I have arbitrarily decided that I have a bye because we have an odd number of debaters. So next is going to be Uncle Mike's Regeneration versus Cowboyist and Invisibility. So
guys, I have to dip.
Oh, you have to dip? Then it's going to be me and Cowboyist.
But thank you very much for having me.
Hey, are you
yeah, sure.
Are you back? Hey, are you back in the complex, Mike?
No, I'm not. I got to go to Albertsons.
Okay, can you give me a buzz when you are?
That means I got to buy cigarettes.
I said give me a buzz when you are. That's all I said.
I know, but you want a cigarette. And I have to,
not necessarily, but like if you have to buy them, then nah, you're good. I'm just saying, give me a buzz.
I'll give you a buzz anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a buzz. Like, that's all that was.
All right, man. See you guys.
All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead. Still, I want to take a fiver though, just so I can get up, stretch around, right. And then it's gonna be me and Cowboyist. So it's gonna be invisibility versus telepathy. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Ooh. All right, let's go ahead and take 5, and well, at the very least, I'm gonna get up and stretch around. So if none of y'all are taking 5, keep talking about whatever.
Yeah. Evil. Good boy. Well, when did you do that?
Hey, Damon, come here. The box and that, yeah, goes to the trash. Sounds like trash is not.
Yeah, it's little. Hey, boyo. Hey. Oh, jeez. Hi, guys.
Are you just gonna whine until I let you go? Guess so. Alright.
Yeah.
All right, Naga.
Yep.
Do you think you followed along pretty well the like the format that I did, where it was like, hey, give each person the opportunity to be like, hey, this is why mine is better than that. Give each person the chance to rebut, and then go to the judges.
Yep.
All right, so you're modding me and Cowboyist with we're doing telepathy versus invisibility.
Yep.
And you're modding it, so.
And yep. And since this is your show and your channel, let's hand it off to Cowboyist first.
All right, so I think I have almost anybody beat on long-term survival with like Sue Richards level invisibility. I think to go offensive against you would require me to be a little bit more creative and would have to use like other items that I would probably make invisible. But I also think I could arrange a pretty neat accident with invisibility. Uh, without something to really react to, I don't know how else to go further.
Sure.
enough.
Okay, so I'll respond to that then. I feel like I see where you're coming from, where like you get the drop on me. I don't know you are coming, so and if you have something invisible, like that implies that like you have the opportunity to lie in wait, because obviously with telepathy, with mind reading, you know, if I if you are formulating your thoughts and plans within my vicinity, I'm going to hear them as you're thinking them. So this would have to be some kind of setup where you're ambushing me. Is that correct?
Potentially, and it did not escape me the possibility of being invisible with, like, you know, some form of very long range rifle of some sort. In which case, good luck.
I mean, so like at
Spotting.
that point, it doesn't seem like you're using your power. Then, if you're trying to take me out from long range of some kind, then this isn't about me competing with your powers. That's me competing with a long range rifle.
Hear me out, though, as far as like the creative things I could do with invisibility, depending on what you specifically happen to be doing in whatever the venue is.
But like, if I know your thoughts, if you are within range of my thoughts, then the moment I know you're thinking that, I freeze you. Or even just as I said, you know, Inception, just implant the thought in your head that you don't want to do that.
Or I make certain parts of you invisible, certain objects around you invisible, basically make it so mundane things become more of an elaborate death trap for you.
But I don't have to move. I just have if because again
you don't have to move.
Well, no, but so isn't Sue Storm? She has to be touching the thing that she's making invisible.
No.
Oh, that's right. No, she can do it. We didn't do the force fields, but yeah, she can make other things invisible at a distance. Yeah, so never mind. I'll walk that back.
I'm thinking of things like making speeding cars around us invisible, or making your hands invisible.
So again, then I would have to be in the place that you need me to be in to compete with me or defeat me in this.
Let's say for any of that to be effective, I'd probably have to have eyes on you. I'd have to be able to at least like see you in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I absolutely. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, mod.
For you, Cowboyist, would it be fair to say that what you're driving at is that you would use your invisibility to turn the world around Dave as your weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
for clarification purposes on Dave's end, what roughly would be the range of your telepathy?
Well, I did say Professor X, and from what I've seen in the comics, without the aid of Cerebro, typically he only affects people within his sight range, and barring obstacles, the average human sight range is 1 kilometer.
Okay. so a roughly 1 kilometer range.
I'm willing to just go with 1 kilometer because I know that is roughly the average human distance of unobstructed vision.
Okay, cool.
So
right,
if he's within 1 kilometer of me, I know his thoughts, and I can whatever he's doing, I know it as he's thinking it, and can even tell him to just stop and implant in his brain that inception, like, nope, you could just walk away and go get a sandwich.
Now, if I'd already made certain obstacles or certain parts of you that would be detrimental to wherever we happen to be, if I'd already happened to make what I needed invisible, are you claiming the ability then to make me reverse it?
Well, yeah, sure. I can take over your brain.
Like I'm saying, if I'd already...
I can make you think that that's what you wanted to do.
Invisible.
Right, but I can make you think that that's what you wanted to do, right? Professor Xavier can, that's the style of telepathy that I'm defending as being my power. He again, without the aid of Cerebro, which allows him to touch the whole fucking world, just typically it's just what he can see. But or within the range of what he's aware of, right? He has to be aware of.
I mean, hell, I remember the Fatal Attraction storyline.
Yeah.
He gave Magneto a fucking lobotomy, basically.
Right, and so, but I don't even need to go that far. All I got to do is say, like, hey, you don't want to do this, and so, like as soon as I'm aware of your malicious thoughts against me, I'm just gonna tell you to do something else. Just like literally, like I said, you know what? I could really go for a grinder right now, and just like have a nice little fucking Italian pepperoni and salami sandwich with heavy oil and vinaigrette.
Here's my question. You could take it as a rebuttal. Are you actively scanning for me?
I mean, once I recognize a threat, I would. Once I recognize a threat, I would actively scan for the source of the threat. Yeah.
Well, I know, but before, if you're just going about in like normal Charles Xavier mode, where he's disciplined himself to tune everything out, he only reaches out and touches. He only makes the connection or scans.
He only invades. He only invades when he has to, but he does constantly like monitor his surroundings because Xavier always thinks that there's threats around him. But like I'm not the Xavier character. Like I'm not trying to go I'm not trying to embody him, especially like trust me, I like still having use of my legs, but just the idea of like I feel like there's a certain level of like tuning out that you can't do, just like I can't not hear birds chirping around me, Like, I can't not see things at the corners of my vision. So, like, go ahead.
There would be a difference, though, between you tuning things out and still recognizing them as the static with everything else, and then you focusing on, oh, shit, this is a threat. I need to focus.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Once I was aware that I was in any kind of danger, I would be actively, just like just the way your senses pick up Like, you know, I gotta say, just as somebody with PTSD who is triggered by fireworks and gunshots, or sometimes even the backfiring of a car, once that thing that makes you feel threatened kicks in, you're looking around for that shit. So it again sounds to me like when we're talking about, so we're just talking about, like, if we were competing against each other, telepathy versus invisibility, it's all about the ambush, right? But, like, is it the better power to have? Let's try and see if we can, like, go beyond the like, I'm competing against you. So I'm trying to shift the like, hey, I will grant invisibility is, you know, as long as you've got an ambush, versus my telepathy in, you know, whatever ambush you got set up to just, like, compete with me directly. If you ambush me, invisibility's got me beat, right?
Because otherwise, I would just do the Luigi Mangione, but with invisibility.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's it. So if it's just you and me versus each other for whatever reason, like, because that was not necessarily, like, the aim of the debate, but like not that it's not part of it.
Right.
So
no, but yeah. I'm trying to suss out what the parameters for the thought experiment is. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to suss that out as we go along. Like this is I think that's part of the fun of this, right? Because, like, it's such a low stakes debate, right? So kind of lets us figure out, like, because I'm doing this is a new thing I'm trying to do, right? So, like, I'm trying to figure out as I go along. So I feel like, yeah, I'm willing to concede that, like, if it was a one-on-one, right, I would have the upper hand unless you were ambushing me. Would that be?
Yeah, I would definitely give, if you were aware of threats, like, actively, I would definitely give it to you, because
right,
you could just look. If you knew to be aware, you could be actively scanning all the mines in a certain radius around you. Yeah, and you would pick me up, and
we already established within 1 kilometer, right? So that was where we were. Like, I was willing to say, just, like, for the sake of argument, that the range was within human sight, and I know, just because I know the average limit of human sight unobstructed is 1 kilometer, right? So if you're ambushing me and I'm not aware or scanning, you would have that. So that would be in, like, a versus and a one-on-one. But, like, let's talk about in ways this would be beneficial for real life. I will fall back on my example of using it to make money in a way that stays under the radar, right? Like, in a way that is not going to draw serious attention to me, because it wouldn't be hard to, like, go to a casino for a couple of months and just, like, get a ton of money, like a few $100s an hour at a time, or maybe even go up to higher table, but never, like, going on World Series of Poker and being televised, and just, like, you know, like, here's a way to really succeed at life and get everything that I need and or want, and all I gotta do is just think about it for a few hours. Such an easy way to just exist in this world. And so that is one of the benefits that I think that's I'm going to fall back on that as just being kind of like, this is how I could make this work for me in a way that would not really hurt anybody that badly, because I just, I'm doing no more of a rake than the casino is at that point. I'm
Now, what I would have to do in a similar vein would probably, anything I can see or anything I can grab, I could make invisible with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm picturing, grabbing things and walking out unseen. I'm picturing grabbing the whole stack of poker chips off the table, making the chips invisible with me unseen.
Well, I mean,
or
I will say, no, if you did it at the table, that would cause alarm. No, nobody's gonna.
It would cause alarm.
It would cause alarm.
It would make people freak the fuck out.
No. And I don't want to help your argument for you. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't be a table that I would take them from. It would be like make them disappear from one cashier's box and then go turn them in at another, right? Like, not to make your argument for you, but I'm just saying, like, in order to make that work in the casino thing, in order to not cause alarm, because if you do it at the table, you're going to cause alarm.
But I'm also thinking of, your standard robberies at night where invisibility would also be very beneficial.
I was going to interject that, maybe a casino wasn't the best example, but he could achieve the same ends through different means, I think.
Right.
I'm even picturing you've seen Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah.
Where he times all out so much that he just picks up the bags.
Yeah, and just walks away
money
with
from
it.
Armored cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just be taking away from, somebody who has their back turned while they're, one of the armored trucks that's refilling an ATM, right? Yeah. And then
once the bag itself is invisible,
doesn't matter.
What are they going to do? Listen for the swishing.
So you totally have a very, very, I want to say, equitable way of making a means for yourself without, let's be honest, I can't even be mad at robbing banks, to be honest, as long as nobody gets hurt. It's just, I'm
thinking the worst thing I would even think of doing would be what's a taser every now and then?
Well, no, but see, here's the thing. Oh man, again, we don't have any laws or even necessarily technologies, so there's no power inhibiting collars. So if you get caught, let's just say if you get caught, you get caught, right? There's.
Yeah. If I get caught, I get the standard felon rules of I don't get to own a firearm the rest of my life or whatever.
Yeah. Or even and it depends on what you got caught doing, right? Because no, because what is it? It's not upgraded to felony. As long as you're
the dollar amount.
Yeah.
The dollar amount could turn it into a felony.
The dollar amount is the only thing that could turn it into a felony because, you're not using a weapon, you're not endangering anybody or risking harm or life or limb. So yeah, I agree. Those things would not make your maximum sentence or punishment that severe, right? The worst that you would be guilty of is grand larceny, and at this point, we're talking some white collar shit, right? White collar shit doesn't get a lot of time. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why bank robberies actually do tend to carry higher sentences is because it's
the weapon.
Yeah, it's the weapon. It's either armed robbery or if the weapon is discharged at any point during the robbery, then that is what upgrades it to a major felony, right? Like it doesn't even have to hit anybody. It's just if the gun goes off, it immediately upgrades it to attempted homicide or it goes above just robbing shit, right? So,
but at this point, I think we're talking more law than powers here. So let's get back on track.
Yeah. Thank you. See, this is why I can't mod my own fucking back and forth. Okay, so I think next it would have been like, okay, why we like the other power is a bad power is the last bit, right? Who's going first on this one?
Well, we started with. Sorry, what was that?
I was gonna say you can.
I'll go first. Sure, yeah, because you went first before. Yeah, so yeah, that's fair. Okay, so here is why invisibility is a bad power. If you make your eyes invisible, you can't see. Just the way the human eye works. So, either your eyes have to be visible, and so you're always going to be like a floating fucking pair of eyes, or you can't see what the fuck you're doing.
Now, that's not even consistent with how the invisibility works in any fictional media.
I didn't say shit about fictional media. I just said, like, I'm just saying, either you can see or you can't. Or either we can see you. I'm just saying. Because here's the thing, the way the eyes work, you have to be allowing light into the eyes. And if you're allowing light into the eyes...
In fairness, though, Dave,
okay,
we're talking about superpowers.
If we're talking about
okay. That was mean. That was mean. You're right. That was kind of mean. Okay.
No, but if we're talking about like in fiction, if you're talking about magical realism, and you've already defined the powers work this particular way. Suddenly interjecting real hard STEM
I know. That's why I was like, that was mean. That wasn't.
I wouldn't say it was mean. It was funny, but I don't think it flies as an argument.
It doesn't fly as an argument in our platform, in our hypothetical, right? Yeah, no. Okay, let me walk that back. Okay. So why invisibility is not a good power to have? I do still feel like even if we're going with the comic books, like the way Sue Storm bends light, right? With her power, I don't think it's like even she is not truly invisible. Like there's like if you're paying attention in the slightest, you're gonna catch something. And I do also think that we have most of the things that anarcho cowboy would want to do. Anarcho-cowboyist. It's hard to remember where the ist goes. That's not my fault. It's a weird name. I said renegade sapper. Yes, you've got a weird name. That's coming from me, Plurble Flurble Butt. Anyway, the human visual spectrum is the limit of your power. It's about what people see, and even like casinos and a lot of places that carry high-end merchandise or a lot of money often employ
you're catching me with infrared.
thermal cameras.
You're catching me with infrared.
And yeah, exactly. So your limitation of what you can do with this power is going to be within the visible spectrum, right? You're not invisible to the heat that you're putting out or any other detection methods that might be like motion detection,
Even condensation from breath.
yeah, condensation from breath. So there are still a lot of limitations to where you can employ this, and even when you can employ this, right? So yeah, with the condensation from breath, like you're not gonna pull off any kind of genuine usefulness of your power in a cold environment or in a cooler locale, or so like time of year could be, or where you are could affect whether or not this power is useful. So that is my conclusion there. And then you get to rebut and say why telepathy sucks.
Yep.
My rebuttal is simply, as far as stuff like condensation from breath and hell, I would even leave tracks in certain types of ground, but that all only really matters as far as my timing. If my invisibility is good enough to get away with the crime in the moment, if I leave a couple muddy footprints at the scene and then never wear those shoes again,
sure,
we can play with forensics. Real criminals do all the time.
Yeah.
And as far as condensation, as far as like being able to see my breath, I have to make strategic decisions about picking the most favorable circumstances, which I would think would be the smart thing to do anyways.
Oh, I feel like... go ahead.
As far as things like thermal vision and everything, I would just have to keep my endeavors on lower stakes, where I'm not what I'm robbing or what I'm taking from the till of is not going to have such security measures.
Right. So my argument is that for using this power go ahead.
All valid points, but at this point we're supposed to be tearing down telepathy.
Yeah. Well, no. I said he had a rebuttal. He had a rebuttal. And he was trying to he started with giving the common ground on his rebuttal was explaining why I had a point. Right.
Explaining, giving the caveat.
Yeah. And I saw what he was doing. He's
describing how I work within the limitations.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working into that. Okay.
Yeah, he was. He was rebutting. He was rebutting my claim. Yeah, he right. That was totally what. Right. Yeah. So.
But
that was your rebuttal, and then now try and tear down telepathy, and then I get a rebuttal, and then Naga and Cindy vote, and I don't know where the tiebreaker goes when it's just four of us, but we'll figure it out if we get there.
Yeah.
All right. I have to lean into like the fictional tropes that telepathy brings for this.
I'm listening.
The more obvious one of being an extremely gifted telepath on like the level of Charles Xavier or anybody with that level of telepathy would be you would have to learn to focus and mentally discipline your mind to the point you can tune out all of the voices when you don't want to listen to them. You're going to constantly be dealing with this issue of your own mental privacy and being able to quiet the mind. I'm not saying you can't do that, but going to a rock concert, going to a baseball game, going to a college graduation, going to a protest, all of these things, walking down a very busy city street, all of these things are going to be mentally taxing and probably not pleasant when you have to deal with it. Also, do we know what the effects are on the human brain and nervous system, neurologically, psychologically, having access to all these thoughts are? I'm going to guess that having this power of yours is also going to bring its own form of mental trauma and potentially other forms of diagnosis. So that's my teardown of why I personally would not want that level of telepathy.
All right. So I will rebut that, and then we get the votes. Here's what I will say to that. I am currently, what is it? It's March, about to be April, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what fucking year it is right now. It's March, about to be April. I've been 40 for 6 months now. Big 40. So presumably I've had, well, let's just say the powers kicked in around puberty, like mutants tend to, for the sake of this argument. I've had the last 27 years to focus how I use this sense. And let's also assume that this is a sense that is able to be... Cowboyist is muted.
You dropped.
I dropped?
I'm still here.
You dropped very briefly.
I dropped briefly? What did you miss?
Not much.
Okay.
It was only about like a second and a half.
Okay, so it was just more like I clipped. Okay, cool. Let's just say I've had 27 years, like the powers kicked in at puberty or whatever. So let's say I've had 27 years to adjust to this new sense, and it would be a sense in the same sense that any other of like my hearing or sense of taste, touch, smell, sight, vision. It's just one of those things that connects to my brain. And so let's just say like even if we were talking about like just the enhanced senses that Daredevil might have, right? Like he can learn to focus and tune those enhanced senses out, and over time it becomes less of a burden, right? I feel like with the telepathy it would be the same way. Like after a long period of time of having this additional sense, like yes, as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, it would be possibly even excruciating to experience like just having this overload of information. But as you learn to focus it as one of your natural senses that you as a person, as a body would have, I think that it wouldn't be that difficult to overcome. That's my rebuttal.
All right. Now it's to the vote.
It is to the vote, and like if y'all tie, I don't know how this is gonna go.
I know, right? So let's start with Cindy. What do you think?
I think that out of the two, I would probably say that telepathy wins, because you can't block your mind with invisibility, and so there's that whole thing. So that is what I've kind of decided on. And there was a lot of other things, good points that were made about like the footprints and other stuff. Yeah. That might make invisibility maybe not as good, but yeah, I would say probably telepathy wins.
Yeah, I have to agree that honestly this was just a really shitty matchup because I mean, telepathy is one of those things that can be very easily considered just a hard counter to invisibility. But I will say, Anarcho Cowboys did
echo. I was about.
He did an absolutely baller job,
right,
in pointing out the potential weaknesses of telepathy, which I actually all happen to agree with them all. And honestly, I think if it were to come down to a 1v1 between you, it would depend largely on the environment and how much time and effort Cowboys would have.
Prep time. Batman's superpower is prep time. Sorry, just to be funny.
So I just think that telepathy is a little bit more versatile in more situations.
I want to echo, man, Anarcho Cowboyist. Holy shit! Yeah, I agree. It was a bad matchup for all the reasons why you said, but like, holy shit, Cowboyist, you came in hard with your defense of your power. Sounds like the judges have decided that I won that round, which means now it's me versus Naga. It's teleportation versus telepathy, and it's going to be Cowboyist. Do you feel like you are able to moderate? Do you think you're capable of that role?
I could do that.
Cool.
And I apologize for turning the camera off. My battery was about to die, so I'm out of my truck now. So
that's all good.
I would rather have you here than disappear, right? Like, if you're just here and your camera's off, whatever. You're still here. We still got your very pretty icon. Which, and the only thing we're missing is the J. Jonah Jameson cigar that you've been smoking. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Yeah, man, can I just say, I did. Yeah, your stash and your cigar glow, man. Like, those have been.
Well, this is cigar number 2 as far as this video goes right now.
Well, all I gotta say is, like, if Friday Night Fireside is going to have your cowboy ass smoking cigars every week, I don't hate it.
Yep. Totally.
Like, come on, this is great.
This is little Discord with a cigar is like literally my late night weekend activity
Cindy.
every weekend. So,
Cindy, can you, like, is there a GIF of just like a fire pit? Like, is there a GIF of a fire pit? And then we could just like have that in the comments section, since the comments section isn't being used for anything else. And then we could actually turn this into a fucking like we actually got a little fireside image, you know?
Hey, there we go.
Look at that.
Perfect.
I almost went one that was like a funny one, but
It's not moving. It's not moving though. It's just it's not moving.
Moving?
No,
it's moving on my side.
Oh, it's not moving in OBS.
It is for me.
It's not moving in OBS. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I switch over to Discord and I get the. Oh, okay. What? I clicked over to Discord, and then it started moving, and then I clicked over to OBS, and it stopped moving. So if I'm just looking at Discord, it moves. I have to be looking at Discord for GIFs to move. So if I click over to the other window, and I actually am physically have my window, the prominent window of OBS, the movement stops. But I don't need OBS to be moving. We're good. So let's let the fire burn. Okay, so it's gonna be me and Naga. Naga is defending teleportation. I'm defending telepathy, and then we've got Cindy and Cowboy are judges. Cowboy is moderating. So Cowboy, you're directing it. How's this going?
All right, since it's been a minute since we've heard from Naga, we're gonna go ahead and roll with Naga first.
I like that.
Make your apologetic, make your defense.
Well, pretty much everything that we've already cited that telepathy could potentially be weak against, I'm able to exploit with relative ease. Like 1 kilometer range, cool, in, out, quick and easy.
Whoa! No, Nightcrawler. Oh wait, sorry. This is your opening statement. I gotta shut up. Save that for rebuttal. Sorry, I got too eager. Keep talking. Let me save up my ammo.
It's all right. But basically, once I get eyes on him, I can quite easily find a situation to exploit and go in for the kill. And if we're looking at this from a non-violence standpoint, teleportation just doesn't have any of the potential drawbacks that telepathy, thank you, that telepathy does. I don't have to worry about, how many minds are in a given locale. I don't have to worry about searching for threats and being overwhelmed in the process. I just have to be where there isn't any threat. Which, for me, easy as fuck.
Okay, that was your opening statement?
Yep.
Do you have any way you would like to describe the telepathy absolutely sucking?
Oh no! Wait, there's still a back and forth. There's still a back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that comes after.
Yeah, that's the second. That's the second part. There's the I'm defending my point, and then there's the I'm attacking the other point. That's the way we've been doing this. And then we've been giving opportunities for rebuttals each time. So okay, so I will rebut that and then lead into my defense. sorry, no. Just start with my. This is my opening statement. I'm trying to remember I should have like written down a format, but like I just felt like, again, this was like supposed to be a low stakes debate. I didn't want to like try and formalize everything. I was trying to wing it based on who we had and what we were doing. All right. Anyway,
and there's nothing wrong with going with something more free form.
Sure. But I mean, we do want, like, since we've been doing this, I mean, almost like a bracketed tournament that we impromptu'd here. I want to try to be consistent. Anyway, so okay. So my rebuttal to I will say, I want to bring it back to the fact that you did mention that you were going off of Nightcrawler style teleportation, and I do know Nightcrawler's limitations for the most part are limited by what he can see. I know that obviously both in comic book and in movie canon that he has taken the risk to teleport into places he can't see, but there is that whole, if he teleports into something that someplace he can't see, and there happens to be a structure where he winds up, that he is just dead because half of his organs are inside of a wall, or or maybe even just a desk or something, or a chair that's in the room. So I do want to point that out, I mean, that's more of an attack on the teleportation itself than a rebuttal of the original point. So, shoot, I might have gone out of...
It's all right.
I felt like it was still responding to what you said, though.
Yeah.
I've been whiskeying up the while we've been doing this. I don't know about y'all, but like, I ain't trying to do this fucking clean. This isn't that serious, right? So in my defense of my telepathy versus teleportation, just defending against like it's me versus him, right? Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Thank you. I picked up my thread. So if it's me versus him, you did say Nightcrawler, and that is based or limited on what he can see, and my limitation was within a kilometer. So you gotta catch me out in the open. Out in the open, like wide open, is the only place I'm vulnerable. So again, I just gotta stay in one place, and that place just has to have walls, and that's it. That's all I need to defend myself against you directly. That's my rebuttal to that. Before we go into the why your power sucks entirely.
All right. Let's see.
Do you want me to go? Yeah, you know what? Just so that we can, like do the snake format, just like a fantasy football draft, right? So I'll go into my attack of teleportation, then you get your rebuttal, and then your attack, and then I get my rebuttal, and then we're done. Yeah? Okay. So, Okay. I do just want to, for the sake of fun, I know we have expressed why, like, we've already accepted that these powers work the way they do in the universe. I do just want to throw out the fun of, like, air pressure and how it works, and if you are just suddenly in this space that was even once only occupied by air until now, that's still gonna hurt. Yeah. So, but again, we are assuming, for the sake of argument, that these powers work and function, and it's not gonna kill you to use them, right? But I just want to point out, like, if you are disappearing from one place, and then like, all of the space that you just filled in disappears, and it would get filled in by the surrounding air, and it would happen so fast that it would probably break the sound barrier, so there would, and in fact that even kind of accounts for the bamf, right, of Nightcrawler, like the bamf sound, like the fact that there is a sound effect for his teleportation totally makes sense, right? But then, like, just for the sake of bringing some fun science into this, if you were filling in that space, right, and you are now there where the air was, that air is, like, all of a sudden now, like, immediately pressurizing you, which that could fucking hurt. I just want to throw that out there. But again, we're assuming these powers work and they function, but I just, like, that was just some fun science, right?
Point of clarification on that real quick, just because I'm an uber fucking X-Men nerd. Nightcrawler teleports, like, a pocket of air from where he's teleporting to where he's going, and he
canonically
hops into another, like, he goes into another fire and brimstone dimension. When he comes back, he brings the air from that with him.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so canonically, Nightcrawler specifically. Now you said, I want to say, Naga said Nightcrawler style, so that doesn't necessarily mean it carries his storyline. But yeah, both Nightcrawler and his father Azazel.
You're gonna have the bam. You're gonna have the brimstone and sulfur smell too.
Right, because Nightcrawler comes through. Specifically, the way his power works is he moves through the one of the hell dimensions, right? So like that's how his power works. Is he, like, goes to the hell dimension, the same hell dimension that Mephisto is in. I can't remember. It's not Limbo. Limbo is Magic's thing. And I know Mephisto tried to take over Limbo, but, like, we're not trying to get into that shit. I mean, we could, but fun conversation of Marvel lore. But but yeah, no. So we're saying that, like, again, this is the explanation for why the science could work with these characters, right? Because as he's moving to the other dimension, there is an exchange of matter, not just himself, but he's taking the brimstone, the sulfuric smell, through our dimension into the hell dimension, and then exiting with it as well, right? So there's that exchange of atmosphere of the dimensions. So yeah, but I just thought it would be really, really fun to point out, like, without that, even just, like, teleport. There are so many things wrong with teleportation. I was even, like, because I didn't know what teleportation you were going to come up with, and that's why I asked earlier, like, what style you were going with.
Right.
Because, like, you could be talking about, like, Star Trek style teleportation, and there's issues with that I would argue against if we came up against each other at the end, right? So anyway, did I don't know if did I rebut? No, I'm not sure I rebutted.
Not quite.
No, I did.
You did the science thing.
No, okay, so the limitations. Yeah, I did the science thing. The actual limitations. This is not the me versus you, but like actually doing the like what are the limitations? So the limitations of the teleportation power, whatever you use it for, would still be visible. If you were to try and use it to your advantage to make money, whether it was a performer or whether you were trying to get into places, like, you would still have to be like, because you are still visible, you are still able to be seen, your actions are able to be recorded by all kinds of surveillance technology. So you still have the limitations of surveillance technology or even the naked human eye to be identified in how you're using this. So it's not as covert as you think it is. It is still very limited. You have to be so fucking careful to not be actually picked up in using this to your advantage in any way. Doesn't really matter what it is. You're observable. And so then you get rebuttal and then attack telepathy.
Yep. So, as far as being observable goes, yeah. But here's the thing. Compensating for that, super easy. Mask, gloves, and just monochrome clothing for the rest of it. And covered head to toe, just bamf into a bank vault, pick up a couple of sacks of cash, bamf out, and then
even
do a long-range teleport.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Not my turn. Fuck. I gotta get used to this.
But, yeah, and then long-range away. And the money, just spend it in another city. Go for small denominations that hardly get checked. Raid a jewelry store and take it to a pawn shop from 2-3 cities over and hawk it. Being seen is not that bad. However, if with Charles Xavier level of telepathy, anytime you're in any kind of densely populated area, cities have to be tortured for you. Unless you are tuning out everything. Because the moment you open yourself up to one mind, you kind of crack the door for the rest of them. And even if they remain as TV static, the loudness of that static has to be deafening.
Okay.
And we've seen on quite a few occasions. Close. But we've seen on quite a few occasions where Charles Xavier has had to do it. And even if he's able to successfully do the thing, it still puts him on his ass. From an energy expenditure point of view / mental stress point of view. As far as what? Oh no, I did that already. Never mind.
my final rebuttal for the vote. I do want to say I feel like I already addressed the issues of like training your senses to tune out the stuff that you're not focusing on. That's literally just a normal thing that senses do as we develop, and so I like this additional sense would be one that could be focused on or tuned out, especially after using it for as old as I am. Like I said, if I were 40 and the power is developed at 13, I've had 27 years with this sense, right? So I feel like I still have the ability like to focus on or filter out things as I need to exist like any other sense. And then
one quick question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the time to refine it, canonically speaking, how old is Xavier? I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm 40, right? But we're not talking about I'm the character. We're just talking about the power.
Right.
So, but if I do have the power and I'm 40 years old, I feel like I have the power. I can say, like, at this point, if it hasn't driven me insane by now, but like again, we're trying to assume that these powers are functional and not detrimental, right? So I feel like the drawbacks that the only drawback, or sorry, shit. I can't remember what your point was that I wanted to actually respond to about the attacking telepathy. Yeah, no, then I did. Yeah, sorry. Then yeah, I did address that. I feel like I addressed that where this is a sense that would be something that would be an extension of any of my other senses, and over time and development, yes, obviously it's a sense that would kick in at like 13 or puberty or whatever, and it would be disorienting to add that new sense, but over time, and especially a couple decades later, I would probably have, like it would just be another sense that I am able to ignore or focus in on just like any other. So I don't feel like that's the drawback that it would be for using it in life. But I definitely want to acknowledge the drawback that would be caused in the development of that new sense. So that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to acknowledge that it would be like really difficult and frustrating, and it would be detrimental like right when that power is that sense has introduced itself into the senses. But like if you have trained this sense just like any other ability that the body might have, then that's not that hard to overcome, because all senses that have the ability to focus or ignore, like you can, there's even ways to ignore pain, right? Like you can will yourself to not hurt as bad. So I think that's my final statement.
Yeah.
And unless you think you really got something else to add, I'd say we go to the judges.
I would just like to clarify that the reason I asked for Charles Xavier's age is the fact that, especially when dealing with large populations, he still has that struggle.
Sure. But it seems like that struggle only happens when, again, and now we're getting into just like we can argue individual incidents in the comics.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know that would be pretty fucking nitpicky, I think. But
Yeah.
especially if I started doing the same thing for Nightcrawler, right?
Yeah, totally.
but like I wanna agree. Like, yeah, it is a obstacle that he
especially in those
encounters.
developmental years.
Right, it is an
Yeah.
obstacle that he encounters, but not necessarily a weakness in his daily life or something that like usually when it comes up is because somebody's like disrupting something or making, you know, they find a way to like really take advantage of his particular thing by overwhelming or overloading him. So like I feel like that's like using a direct weapon against that particular power, which I don't think is in the spirit of the debate. So but yeah, anyway, anything else?
I've had my piece. Think
All
we
right.
can go to the vote now.
Let's
Yeah.
go to the judges, and I don't know what the tiebreaker is going to look like if we have one. I tell you what, if there is a tie,
We'll have a tie.
if there is a tie, we will go to the comments, right? You tell us who you think won, right? I still want to hear from Cindy and Cowboy, but if they can't agree on a winner, then y'all tell us in the comments who do you think won this debate, or maybe somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not even me and Naga. Maybe you think Cindy with her super strength was the best power. Maybe you think Cowboyist with his invisibility was the best power. Maybe you disagree with this entire debate. Tell us in the comments. All right. Cindy, why don't you lead us off? Who do you think won? Was it telepathy or teleportation?
I think for this one, I might have to give it to teleportation. And I think it's mainly. Well, I was really thinking about like the energy spent for both. I think that I know that it's a physical thing to teleport. But I feel like maybe it's just because of my neurodivergent, like, sensory overload. I feel like it'd be easier to handle a physical, like, energy loss than, like, a mental energy loss like that.
That is a valid reason to judge your way. I'm not going to take that away from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm, knowing that you are also neurospicy and can have sensory overload sometimes with certain senses.
Yeah.
That, and obviously you're not Xavier, you are Dave.
I wish.
Okay. Yes, you would have some sort of, time getting used to that new sense over the 27 years, but then I don't know Naga as well, obviously, but I just don't think that the teleportation would take as much energy. Plus, it's a good defense where telekinesis. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it would be in a fight. How they would match up very well. So I'm just going to give it to teleportation.
All right. My camera is clearly being like crazy stupid. Hopefully the recording of this sounds good because this has been an awesome episode so far. I care way less about my video matching than the audio being clean. But so, and also, without trying to influence Cowboy, I kind of hope that he's voting for telepathy so that we can get the winner decided in our comments section, right? Like, but like, I don't want to force Cowboy to vote for me for any other reason. I hope that we get some people telling us in the comments. But like, seriously, Cowboy, like, give your honest feedback. Between teleportation and telepathy, who do you think won the debate?
Now, to be honest, I wish I would have thought of this when you and I were going at it, but it occurred to me because I didn't have the words for it at the time to articulate it, but like, putting aside the whole needing to ambush you thing, I think what I was even trying to angle at is Xavier's a telepath of the Xavier Omega mutant level, is a powerful mind, has a strong force of will, and has some pretty remarkable feats to go along with that level of telepathy. And aside from the sensory overload and the qualia and everything, another limitation, and I don't think the literature even addresses it well, is Xavier's, any human being, whether it's a mutant or whatever, a telepath is still going to have like a very finite limitation on their executive function or their working memory. So not even talking about like an ambush, but if you were sufficiently if your focus was sufficiently distracted, we know the human brain sucks at multitasking. So if you're balls deep in somebody else's cognitive structure, seizing their mind, or you're reading surface thoughts looking for threats, basically, when you're occupied with your powers doing one thing, you're distracted from other things. When Xavier, for example, is like really hardcore using his powers, he's like jacked into the Matrix practically as far as vulnerability goes. There's a reason Xavier has his X-Men. And there's been plenty of times when he's been in the field with them where when he's engaged, he needs Colossus and Wolverine to frickin' like run point guard for his ass while he's incapacitated because he's busy. So
because he has no functional legs, that I feel like you're a little bit inferring the character there, and not the power.
But he's also had plenty of times though where he's been able to walk too, and I'm not even going to go into that crap.
What I'm saying, like if we're looking at the power itself, he can freeze a whole fucking room of people. He can focus on every mind in his range. So,
and then there's other times where he's in a battle of wills with another particularly strong mind.
Sure, but we're judging the teleportation versus telepathy.
Yeah.
Where's the vote? Where's the vote? Where's the vote?
I think the teleporter could sufficiently take advantage of you being sufficiently distracted to pull off a win.
Well, no. Again,
so
it's not necessarily the versus of like I'm fighting this person. We're talking about like best power overall.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to go with teleportation.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I think, and I'll tell you why, and I'll keep it short.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think if the teleporter keeps in mind their own limitations and plans to work around those limitations, I think it has a lot more utility.
All right.
That's my vote.
Wow. So, I'm going to call this an upset just because I'm upset. So, Naga defending. Sorry, go ahead.
In fairness to you, Dave, honestly, I would have given it to you based on the arguments.
I thought it was going off
really
the arguments. I thought I argued it better. I'm just gonna say but here's what it comes down to.
Argued it well.
I think we did both argue it well. Yes, I just think I argued it better.
Yeah.
But no. But here's what I will say: the judges, our judges, Cindy and Cowboy, gave the argument to Naga, teleportation being the best superpower of the superpowers that we all argued. But if you disagree, if you think that one of us argued the power better, and you think that a power was better defended, tell us in the comments. And don't forget to if you've gotten this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am not yet sophisticated enough where I'm throwing up like actual buttons for like and subscribe. I'm gonna get a few more videos out there to like actually start like referring to shit that we've done, and like, you know, because I can re-edit and add in clips and advertisements and even promos for Sputter Media later on. But this is a work in progress. I want to thank all of my guests, those who were here. So we had a couple who were here for a little bit on video and audio. We had a couple who were just in the comments, but I want to thank all of my friends here in Dave's World for the Friday Night Fireside. And so give you guys the opportunity to say good evening to those who may be watching. I love you all, and I love those who hear this. Naga, any final words?
Just, I would like to give a special shout out to Volty, who kept conversation going early in the show where we were clearing the stuff out.
Yeah. That when I was having the audio update, the sound source update.
Yep. But yeah, it was a great night. I'm actually really, really surprised that I got the win in the end.
Me too.
I absolutely would have. Yeah, I absolutely would have given it to you if it wasn't me against you.
No hard feelings. But I ain't salty. I'm just gonna leave it up to the. I'm just gonna leave it up to the comments section.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a blast. It was a great time as usual. Thanks as always. Thank you everybody for listening in / watching, and have a great night, day, whatever. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also vote teleportation.
Cindy, any thoughts to say to the audience before we call it a night?
Well, one, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I got last place, and if I would have debated any more, I would have been lying to anyone, because I don't think my thing was actually better than anybody's. You guys convinced me of yours in opening arguments. I was like, oh no. But this was really fun. I'm not very familiar with debating, so this was a fun first time situation of doing that. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, that's cool. All right, and Cowboy, last words.
All right, don't hate me for this. You were at a disadvantage from the start when you went up against Naga. I've wanted to be Nightcrawler since I was about 8 years old.
All All right. So one of the judges just announced that he had bias. So again,
Yeah, I should
the
have excused
audience,
myself, but
but we didn't have anybody else.
Election fraud.
Election fraud. I demand a recount. But no, we do have again. Like, let me. Sorry, before. Cowboy, I want to give you the last opportunity to say whatever, and then I'm going to close it out.
it's been fun. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Yeah.
So again, if you guys think that the debate went a different way than the judges on the panel decided, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and please join us on Friday evenings for Friday Night Fireside here at Dave's World.